be here. So I guess I'm going to try my hand at a recipe video for you today. One thing that Gail loves that I make is fresh biscuits and gravy. So got a little recipe card, and I've been using this recipe for a long time. You would think that I would have it memorized. I don't. I always refer to the card. So, but without any further ado, let's begin. All right. So the first thing I need to do is get 2 cups of all-purpose flour. So let's do this. And you know, if there's any chefs or bakers that are watching me do this, probably cringing because I know the pastries and stuff like that, people tend to get very precise about it. I like to get close enough. So that's 2 cups of all-purpose flour. And what I'm doing is I'm mixing my dry ingredients first. I always mix my dry ingredients first. So, and okay, I didn't know if I had enough flour or not, so that's also flour. All right, now we're going to go with a tablespoon of baking powder. I believe this helps make the biscuits rise. 1 tablespoon. Tablespoon. And now 2 teaspoons of sugar. Okay. And go with a half teaspoon of peanut tartar. And the last dry ingredient is a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. All right, so all my dry ingredients are in, and I like to use a fork. I forgot to get that out. I like using a fork to kind of mix all the dry ingredients together. Stir it real good. Okay. So, all my dry ingredients are there. I'll probably end up using that fork again. And now, I got to cut the shortening into the flour mix. And it is a 1/2 cup of shortening, which is basically 1 stick of butter. I like using unsalted sweet cream butter in my biscuits. That. Sorry for going off camera, but what I like to do, I like to kind of just cut it in chunks. And then I'll use my pastry cutter to really get it all blended with the flour. Oh, I hear somebody moving around. I think Gail's finally waking up. But, you know, of course, she's going to always wake up for my biscuits and gravy because she loves it. I think it's one of her favorite dishes I make. Probably her favorite breakfast thing that I make. I think my pancakes might be a close second, but I don't know. she'll have to reveal that to you. So I used to try to do this with a fork, and I finally was able to find the cutting tool in a store. In a small town, we don't get much gadgets, and apparently in our small town, this pastry cutter is like a luxury item. It took me forever to finally find one in this town, but I found one. I was on the verge of going to Amazon to get one, but I actually found it in a place that I at least expected to find it. You know, and it was kind of surprising, but anyways, I tend to rattle on, as well you all know when I'm doing videos. Okay, so I think I got that just kind of how I like it. Yeah, I like the way it looks. So it's kind of got a granular look to it. Better cut pretty good in there. Okay, and one thing I forgot to do was preheat my oven, so I better get that going. Alright, once again, sorry for going off camera. Okay, so didn't need this. Put this up. That was supposed to be for that half cup of butter, which I wasn't thinking when I was getting everything ready. So what I like to do is I like to make a little well in the middle of the flour for my milk. This is 2/3 cup of milk. Pour that in there. And then I just start using my fork to cut it all in. So around with that flour, try to make sure to absorb that milk. Oh, this is... So I am actually not liking how this looks. This is definitely not thick enough, so I'm just going to add a little bit more flour to the mix, because it's definitely not the right consistency for what I like. There we go. That's looking a little bit better. There we go. A little bit more. And I always end up ad-libbing the flour because I like a dough that's not runny, but not too stiff, if that makes sense. You know, where you can pretty much pick up it right out of the bowl. We're kind of getting there. And, you know, I'm just kind of dusting it now. And even if I would have done the packing and leveling off with the knife and all that stuff, like a precision pastry chefs do and all that stuff, I always end up doing that because, like I said, I have a personal preference of how I like my biscuit dough to look. Kind of like Gail on the aspect that I'll go with a recipe and I will tweak it to how I like it. So I'm going to put flour on my cutting mat here. And so this is still a little bit more soupy than I like. I don't know what happened with it this morning, so but it definitely is not the consistency that it usually comes out to be. That could be the type of milk that I use this time, I guess. I don't know. But anyways, it's way too soupy for my liking, so. Alright, so it's kind of. There we go. Kind of just work it gently. Try to get the flour in, try and get all that extra moisture out of there. Okay, and that's why I also like to flour this, because it gives me another way of being able to do that in. Oh, Gail, I need your assistance.
What?
I need you to sprinkle some flour for me, please. Just don't face the camera. No, don't you. Don't do it. Don't do it. All right, so, you know, just had a little GE magic going on there. That's called Gail editing. Couldn't coax her to show her beautiful face this morning. So I had a little bit of Gail editing done right there, so that's why I kind of jumped. Anyways, so now the dough is looking how I like it. Yeah, this is beautiful right here. Okay. So I got the oven preheating at 450. All right, let's get some more. Just a little bit more. Trying to get her jar on this. That's why I was asking her to come do that. Okay. So I kind of cut this out. A lot of people like to roll. I just kind of like to pat. Okay, so let's see. Yep. Gotta pick the right drawer. Stan Hill, does she get foil stuck in the box? Oh my goodness. Can we go off camera a lot? Sorry guys. First time doing a recipe video. Alright, so here's the funny thing. I like big biscuits. So this is my cutter. So I like to go right to the edge, do a little twist. And so, all right. Gently take these and plop them over there on my cookie sheet. Still kind of a little bit gooey, so I hope they turn out this morning. Of course, the first time that I tried to make a video, they're gonna act up on the end. So, anyway, so now this flour mixture in here again. Try to cut some more of that extra flour there. I try to make it about a ½ inch thick. I try. Here's a good cut out. So I'll just do that. I kind of just keep doing that so until I have no more dough left. I usually get about 8 to 10 biscuits out of this, even at this thickness and at this, you know. But I like thick biscuits with gravy. I've always have. So this guy here, yeah, we're just going to kind of, that's pretty much it. Now I'm going to put it in the oven for about 10 to 12 minutes, and I'll show you the result when they come out of the oven. Alright guys, so here's the biscuits on the cookie sheet. Not put them in quite yet because, like I said, I'm making biscuits and gravy. So what I got to do first is I got to brown and serve sausage, which that's what I'm doing now. And what I'll do is I'll heat these up here. And get nice and done, and then I'll actually cut this up and chop these up to put in the gravy. So while these are heating up, kind of typically tell you what I put. Actually, I don't need the back side of the burner on if I keep everything up here. Okay, so I use flour, a little bit of vegetable oil, flour, and as I go in front of the camera, I like using this complete seasoning mix that she gets. And then, believe it or not, I like using almond milk. Oops. In my gravy. To when it comes to picking it. So seasoning ingredients there. So pretty much that's what my gravy consists of outside of the sausages. Now I've done this. I also like making my gravy with bacon, having a bacon country gravy. And when I do that, instead of the vegetable oil, I'll use the bacon grease for that. And then if I'm not using the brown and served sausages like here, like if I decide to use a sausage that comes in the tube, I guess for lack of a better word, I like to use the fat from that to make my gravy. But when I do that kind of sausage, I'll usually go ahead and just fry it up in the pan that I'm going to make the gravy with and crumble it up like you would hamburger meat before adding the flour to make the roux and then the milk to start thickening it up. And another thing that I almost forgot to grab, when I make my gravy, I like using a whisk as opposed to a spoon or a fork. Alright, these are feeling pretty plump, so I think these little guys are about ready. Okay, so I'm going to turn that burner off. Put that in there real quick. And I'm going to put the biscuits in the oven. Set the timer for I always like starting off 10 minutes. So that's going. Let's get this going. And usually That's me. I like a lot of gravy, so. Make sure this is all nice and loose. I'll start making my roux. And what's important is I'll do a little bit of the seasoning with the roux, and then I'll add some more in. And then I'll usually add the sausage in last. And this is, I just do this all by eyeball. I eyeball a lot of this on my gravy. Watch for it to start to bubble up a little bit. It's starting to bubble up, so put a little bit more seasoning in there. And then got that roux bubbling up pretty good. So this is where I'll start. And I'm constantly stirring. Gail, can you cut these sausage links off to the side off the camera for me? So I don't have to stop stirring this. And so now what I'm going to do is I just keep stirring it, and I just watch for it to thicken. And I'll add a little bit more as it thickens until I get to the amount that I want. Grab me something to put it in. Alright, so Gail went to go cut up the sausage links for me in little discs, or however she wants. I mean, if she wants to dice them up in little squares, and that's fine too. But it's starting to thicken a little bit, so add a little bit more. I don't like it watery, but I don't like it thick and clumpy either, so that's why I'm constantly stirring. And I like that because I like my biscuits smothered. I'm not going to lie. My doctor was to see this, they'd have a heart attack. I'm telling you. I'm liking I might put just a little bit more seasoning in it. I like a lot of flavor. And what I like about this seasoning, it's got a little bit of everything in it. You know, it's got some garlic, some onion. You know, it's a good rounded seasoning. Like I said, I like a lot of flavor. I don't particularly like just flat out peppered gravy. Well, I'll take it back. I do like country peppered gravy on chicken fried steak. I do like that. But like my biscuits and gravy, I like to have it more than a peppery flavor. All right. Hopefully Gil's almost finished with the sausage, because it's getting to the point where it's time to add it in, and because the biscuits don't have that much time left. I always like to try to time it out so the biscuits come out hot, and I can pour that gravy right on them, and everything's nice and hot. I can hear it cutting away. I think that's all I'm going to add, because I want to use up all of her almond milk. I like using the almond milk because it kind of gives it a little bit of a sweetness to it. And I don't know, for some reason I just kind of like that. We started using a lot of almond milk. Well, we've been using almond milk for years now. As a substitute for regular milk. All right, so we're going to put that in there, and we're just going to mix it up, and we're going to let this start to thicken up. And of course, the trouble about eyeballing stuff like I do, sometimes I don't get it quite thick enough. But as it heats up, it should reduce and it should thicken. That's where I like it. So I'll put there's a little bit more. I think that's good there. I'm going to let that simmer for a little bit. Put this stuff up. If I bump the camera, I apologize. I'm a noisy baker, cooker, whatever you want to call it. Alright, so. Alright, so. So it's nice and smooth. I don't have any clumps, so now I can kind of let it simmer and thicken. And we're down to our last 3 minutes. Let me turn the light on here, see if I can see how they're looking. Starting to smell pretty good up in here. What do you think, Kel? Is it smelling good? Yeah, now it's starting to thicken up a little bit. I think I added just a hair too much on the note that last go round. Right, just keep stirring it, giving it love. Yeah, it'll get to the right consistency. Alright. Get the plates out. There we go. Simmering, gotta be nice and hot. And we're down to under a minute here, and all right. About to do the cardinal sin. Not supposed to open the oven, but I do need to see how the tops of my biscuits look. I'll be a good little boy. I'll wait till the timer goes off at least before I do that. Those little sausage pieces are all nice and juicy now. Oh, okay. Let's take a look. Well, looks like we got a couple more minutes left on them. We're going to reset the timer for 2 more minutes. And that'll give me some more time to let this actually simmer some more. And actually, I'm going to reduce the heat on this to let it go to just a simmer, and that might help it thicken up a little bit more without me having to add cornstarch to it or more flour. So I'm happy with the color, and I'm happy with the way the seasoning looks as it is right now. Brian's trying to make his presence known in the video. Hear him in the background. Did you give him a piece of sausage? Yes. He's playing with it, not eating it. So Bryant likes to play with his food. And I don't know why he's meowing at it. Maybe he thinks it's a mouse or something. But anyways, it's kind of funny. He's our oldest boy. He's a very good cat. Jumps out of his shadow. Oh no, he's still a very good cat. Yeah, I'm talking about you. So. I'm not sure if he's asking. Well, he's not by the door, so I don't know if he's asking to go outside or if he's. Alright, let's take a look. I think they're ready. Oh, turn that off. I'm not going to turn off the oven just yet. Alright. Oh, hot. Okay. Yeah, actually, I'm going to turn off. Alright, so there's the biscuits and gravy. Let's oh, they smell great, guys. Nice, fluffy, can apart easily. Okay. I always like opening mine up. Let's cut this up just a little bit because we want to get a good portion of. There's a little bit thinner than what I like. It's still doable. Get a couple more sausage pieces on there. Let's divvy up the sausage pieces for her a little bit better. Okay. Let's see. Alright, so. Anyways, so there is my rendition of biscuits and gravy, one of the forms. So I'm going to give this to Gail, dish mine up. You guys be blessed, and love one another, and I hope you enjoy this video. Bye.